All right, he's finally out. We have him. The final piece of the puzzle. The final member of the Gargoyles crew. The one, the only, Lexington. Crowd goes wild. So Lexington, as far as I know, it took a while for this figure to come out because they had to re-engineer his wings at one point. So I'm honestly super excited for this. See what they ended up with the wings. I haven't seen any, videos or anything about this figure yet. So this is going to be my fresh eyes on it today. It's the last one in the series, so it sort of bookmarks the series for me. I have Elisa. There's a video of her up already. And I think maybe this is where I'm going to stop with the series, maybe. I definitely want more, but the way G.I. Joes and stuff are releasing, I don't have much. I'm spread kind of thin right now. So I did find Lexington live at Target. He was also, they had Xanatos, the human figure Xanatos, and I almost got him too. He does have Damona's folded wings, which are super awesome. I'd love to have those too, but I decided to pass on it for now. I wanted to complete my set first of the mainline crew, and then, I'll decide down the line if I'm going to get more of the human characters, Cold Stone, or, any of the other stuff that they're going to be coming out with. We'll see. But this is Lexington, so the youngest of the Gargoyles. He's a little childlike, and I'm super excited for his figure. He's got to be all unique sculpt because he's by far the smallest gargoyle, and I'm really curious about the wings. So obviously, here's the front of the box. It's got the gargoyle artwork that it always does. Lexington Ultimate Action Figure, windowed packaging. Dun, dun, dun. So there he is, right there in the packaging. And if you know Lexington, if you know the show, obviously, so he became sort of the technology expert. He really, really was impressed by technology we had, New York had, when they reawoken. So that's why he comes with a couple technology pieces, like a little remote control for, the cars that were in a couple episodes there. And Lexington being perceived as the youngest gargoyle, he's not a goofball, but he's definitely naive. And one of his key episodes was Thrill of the Hunt, where the pack tricked him into, saying, hey, we're going to be your friends, so bring, Goliath in to see us, in an attempt to sort of, hunt them and capture them. And that's the key episode from him that I remember, where he lost his cool a lot of the episode. He hates the pack to this day from that episode, from their betrayal. And that's where his angry head comes in. Like, he wasn't angry a whole lot, but he was very intensely angry at the pack that episode to be, to fall for their tricks and stuff. But he was definitely a key part of the show, just like all the gargoyles. All the gargoyles, except for Goliath, obviously, but all the other gargoyles were pretty much equal. They had their own episodes. They were a part of every adventure. They all had their place, and they were an amazing team. And so here is obviously the NECA action shot with the cool backgrounds. Way better than something I can do with no background. But this is professional, okay? I'm not a professional. I'm a dude talking about plastic. All right, first side, you got sort of his normal head, just a standing pose. Gargoyles, NECA. Other side, you do have his, angry head with his whited out eyes and, the claws ready to attack. And on the back, we have the synopsis. We have more shots, the action shots of him and his accessories. The wings look great in that picture right there. Great. But let's see what they look like in real life. I'm super excited. And then obviously collect them all. And man, when this series started, could you even imagine like all of these figures in person? Like, this is crazy what they're up to now and what they're going to do. And they don't seem to be slowing down. So they're going to get to even more and more. It's crazy. So main Gargoyles crew is finished for me with Lexington. I got them all. I do even have Angela. That's the new Broadway with his sort of, detective outfit or so. Obviously, I'm probably not going to get that. Thalog I didn't get. Demona I have. Elisa I have. And Xanatos, Armored Xanatos, and the Steel, whatever they're called, the Steel Gargoyles. So I think for me, down the line, this is where I'm going to pause for now. I'm good with the complete crew. Take some pictures of the complete crew today. And I'm super glad to have Lexington. I had to get her. I had to. She's a main character just like any of the Gargoyles, right? And I do think I want a Xanatos eventually. I think I'm going to get the human version because it comes with, like I said, Damona's folded wings. But I don't know. The series is amazing, and I hope Lexington lives up to the rest. All right, let's check out his wings. Right, so here he is, Mr. Lexington, and he looks just like, I mean, he fits completely the aesthetic of the rest of the gargoyles. He's got the, the shaded musculature on the body, which looks amazing. The sculpt looks amazing. He's got the same muscle sort of texture as a lot of the other gargoyles, but obviously this is a unique sculpt because he's a lot, smaller than the other ones. This is very small in comparison to the other ones, and we'll see those a little bit later. And I do love the proportion and the design notes on here. He's got super long arms sort of compared to his body. He's got the super slender body in the middle. He's got that, the loincloth here, which is textured and painted just like the rest of them. The buckle looks amazing. It's that, that gold inlay right there. And swing around to the back. And obviously, let's talk about the wings. So the wings are connected onto his wrist right there, his leg right there, and then the joint right there. And there is some articulation right there. And the only thing you got to remember with his, and it's not a figure problem, this is the way his wings were in the show, right? Like, it's going to limit articulation a little bit. You can't go around the world on his arms, obviously, because he's got this connected. Same thing with the legs. You can't go super far forward or anything because it is connected right there. So he is limited, I guess, posability-wise because of his wings. I don't mind that because these wings are super unique, and this is just, it's just the way it is. This is the way it's got to be. And I remember, NECA, I'm pretty sure at some point said they had to bring him back to the drawing board and change his wings because they weren't sort of up to their standards the way they had them the initial time. So this is what they settled with. So it's definitely attached right there really good. It's attached right there really good. It's got the joint right there. It's obviously soft plastic. So it's not hard plastic like all the other gargoyles. Came with hard plastic long wings, but the folded wings, the cape wings, were all this softer material because obviously it needs to be soft to move, with his arm and his leg, and you can get the cool, like, hey, I'm flying poses with that. So the wing gets all billowy like that, which looks amazing, but, it also looks amazing with his arms down, just like in the show for the most part. So this is a super unique figure for the series. It does a lot of things that the other figures can't do. And I don't know, it looks amazing. He's definitely a worthy addition to the line for sure. So first things first, now that we talked about him, let's get his tail on so he doesn't have his, exposed back hole anymore. So there you go, tail on. The tail, just like the other ones, is a bendy tail. So it does bend, obviously, in all different directions. They match the, the color up very well. It's, gonna be a base, so you can, help him stand up a little bit if you need to, which is what I do with his brethren, his brothers. So going over the articulation, he does not have a lot of up and down on the head. There's no butterfly joints on the gargoyles. We've talked about this before. And the posability is super limited by the wings, but he does have, the double elbows. His hands are forward and backwards. Single knees, which do go back, pretty far. It actually goes back pretty far. The forward is just limited. Like, the leg can move, pretty well, but it can't go super forward. I don't know what kind of poses you're trying to get with this dude, but the leg is pretty much typical gargoyle fare. It's super huge, so he's got a super big base to stand on, and, the articulation is really good forward and backwards. There's no side movement at all. There's no rocker in there. And the toes are articulated too, like a lot of the other gargoyles. The waist articulation is pretty cool. He's got his, abs right there. So there's a swivel at the hips. And then there's a little bit of a ball in there of some sort. So he does go around. You can get some, cool, side poses or so. You just have to be wary of the wings again. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to stress test it, but I don't know how strong these are. They seem in there really good, but maybe if you twist them too hard or something, one of these might come out. I don't know. I am not going to test that for you. But I definitely love the design. I love the sculpt work, the paint job. Everything is Gargoyles wonderful. And the big selling point to him, other than the character, if you're a big fan of the character, which I am, is, you know, the different wings. He's got different wings. He's not going to take up, you know, 20 feet on the shelf. All right, there's his other head, his sort of angry head. And it looks really good. He's very like sort of gremlin-ish, you know what I mean? Like he looks like he could be, you know, the Twilight Zone, the gremlin or whatever that was on the wing of the plane. It looks like this guy could be that guy. But the sculpt work's really good on the other head. He's got this huge white eyes. You know, the paint details inside the jaw are pretty awesome. The dark, you know, dark red, dark black, white teeth, all sharp and pointy. Ow, they're pretty sharp. So his angry head definitely fits in, especially, you know, that Thrill of the Hunt video when he was angry. This is, he's pretty quick, right? He's not a big bulky gargoyle. He's a slender, quick one. If he's coming at you in the night, you are scared. Right, and while we're on the subject of heads, we might as well look at this too. This is a sort of, you know, a headset that he comes with. You know, it fits on perfectly. It fits, you know, right into his ears, both sides. And, you know, he's the technology expert, right? So he used this in the show a few times. He's flying a helicopter at some points, you know, and it's got a little, you know, microphone piece, which goes relatively over his mouth with it on the head. It looks perfect. It looks just like where it would need to go. So NECA does a good job on obviously sculpting stuff, combining pieces together where it looks completely natural. And this definitely looks completely natural and definitely fits in with this character. And another accessory that definitely fits in with this character is this. This is obviously a remote control of some sort. So, you know, I think he's used one in a couple episodes. I do have a picture of him controlling like some RC stuff with a controller like this. So I think that's what it's from. It's very, very cool. It's very cartoon turtle-esque, if you ask me. It's got, you know, the nice bold sort of, you know, comic shading, as I like to call it, on it. And it's nice hard plastic too. It's not all bendy like something you'd get with another company. These joysticks don't move, but they're very hard plastic, if you can tell. And I like that. That's what I like about NECA accessories, is because they don't come out of the package bent. This is nice and straight, the antenna right there. There is a couple scrapes on here. There's a scrape right there. I don't know if you can tell. And there's sort of a scrape on the back. So obviously there's, you know, a couple production dings on this thing, but it's pretty cool. I'm sure it fits in his hand really good and it looks good. So thumbs up. And now this is absolutely ballin' right here. This is the coolest weapon in the series so far. Detail wise, there's definitely been some cool weapon, but detail wise, nothing touches this. This is obviously plastic. These chains are real metal right here, and it doesn't work. It does come with arrows, which I'll show in a second, but just the sculpt work on this and the paint work, oh man, it's so good. Especially this, the wood grain on this, it's got that dark wash on it, so it definitely looks like it's made out of wood. And then the metal, this metal does have a wash on it too, so it's got that dark metallic look. Same thing with the gray going around here. And man, look at the details of this thing. This thing is so cool. It's got sort of a trigger, or I don't know, something right there. But man, it looks amazing. And he does come with 4 loose arrows for it. I thought they weren't loose. In the package, it looked like they were all sort of one piece. But they're definitely all loose. It's 4 loose arrows. And, you know, NECA arrows, you know I love NECA arrows. Because again, it's just like I talked about. It's that hard plastic, so they're not bent. They're not super weak right out of the package. And you can actually load the crossbow. So, you know, you just insert the arrow right there. The arrow's nice and in there. Obviously, there's no way to shoot it. It's not a real, you know, crossbow, but you could put the arrows in there. They won't come out fully because, you know, the end is too big. The feathers are too big for that hole, so they won't necessarily just fall out of there. So to get them out, you have to back it up a little bit, but it's still pretty cool that you can actually load an arrow in there. And then it comes with obviously 2 sets of hands. So there's 2 open sort of holdy hands. So I can tell this hand right here will hold the remote control, and this one is probably the crossbow hand. And then there's 2 punching hands. The hands that he comes with are just the sprawled out, you know, claw hands. So, you know, again, just like all NECA hands, they got the good paint details on them. Got the dark fingernails on him, so it's not just one color. So, you know, attention to detail. NECA's always got it. Now this is probably how he holds it, a little higher up there. The hand does fit perfectly on that part right there, on this, you know, metal sort of trigger piece, you know what I mean? And I mean, he looks pretty darn awesome with this thing in his hand. Like, this is an amazing weapon for the series, right? And he's, you know, being a more slender gargoyle, he probably, you know, fought from the distance a little bit. And that's why he's got his crossbow. So yeah, I mean, that's Lexington. It's he's an awesome addition to the series for sure. I hope I showed off everything people want to see about this. He's got some cool accessories. He's got an awesome set of wings and stuff. We're gonna see how he fits in with his brothers, you know, in the next little shot we do. But I really have no complaints about the figure. I think he definitely fits into my nostalgia of gargoyles. And, you know, I'm not a gargoyle expert. I've said this before, but when, you know, he's one of the funner gargoyles for sure. He's definitely one of my favorites. I mean, I do like all of them, but he's definitely on the top of the list for my favorite. All right, like I said, so here's him lined up with the rest of the gargoyles, and he's definitely a lot smaller. He is like an inch shorter than even her. Like, this is crazy. Obviously, there's a couple more of the brothers that aren't here because I can't get them all in the picture. But, you know, this is how he lines up with the rest of the gargoyles. He fits right in to the aesthetic and everything. He fits right into the show, meaning his height. So let's check out his height a little bit. See, he's only a little over 5 inches tall. He's about 5¼ inches tall. Like, in comparison, Goliath, not Gargoyle. Goliath is almost 7½ inches tall, right? So he's super aesthetically shorter than the rest of them. But again, matches the show perfectly. I think he looks great with his brothers and, you know, his human sister. He's not as short as Bronx, though. he's a little bit taller than Bronx, okay? So I don't know. Since this is where I might be stopping with the series so far, I mean, maybe we should talk about the series as a whole. Like, I definitely love the series. I love the modernization of all the figures. I love the textures, especially Hudson. Hudson's got a lot of those textures that I love on it, because he's definitely got the most complex costume. He's definitely one of my favorite figures in the series. I would say my favorite figures thus far are probably Goliath, Hudson, and Brooklyn. I think I like those three the best. I love the look of Brooklyn. I love all the textures and all the details of Hudson. And then Goliath, you gotta love Goliath. He was the first one I got, and it made me fall in love with the series. And, you know, even though I might not continue the series much after this, I got the core figures that I really want. This series is so good, so I really hope more people, if they love the series and want more figures, then I hope NECA keeps making figures for the next 10 years, you know what I mean? There's gonna be more gargoyles in the future. There's gonna be new shows and everything they've announced. So this is a series that might never end. And just the care and the quality, the paint jobs, the sculpt work, the accessories from NECA on the whole series so far, easily 10 out of 10. Like, it's one of the best series going on right now. And man, am I glad to have little man in it. So final thoughts, Lexington. Great addition to the series. It's a smaller figure, doesn't come with a whole lot of accessories, but the accessories he comes with are ballin', especially the crossbow. Crossbow is amazing. It's one of the pieces of the set. The series for sure. So I would highly suggest getting Lexington. He's one of my favorite characters. I'm so happy to have him. His wings are so cool. The way they did the wings, they definitely flow the way they did in the show. You know, looking at this flying pose that I have him in now, he definitely fits the aesthetic of what they're doing for the line. The old cartoons modernized with modern details. The wings, the texture matches the texture of the rest of the gargoyles. Everything on the figure is as amazing as any of the other gargoyles. And it's great that I don't have to buy any folded wings for him down the line. He's there. He's done. One and done. Lexington the man. And it's definitely awesome to have all the brothers together. Definitely well-rounded crew. They're all here. They're all together. They're ready to protect the world. Thank you, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Thanks for the support. Thanks for all the subscriptions and stuff. Let's keep doing it. Let's enjoy our plastic together.